But where are those good old-fashioned values on which we used to rely?
All right. Wow. A little bit out of breath. What a fantastic way to go on stage with the theme song for Family Guy. I thought to myself, don't do it so much that I get excited or get exhausted or out of breath. Okay. And my heart rate is pumping. Think of Internet of Things as a way to deliver personalized experiences. Experiences that goes across physical and digital. I will show you 7 examples, and with each one, I will emphasize a unique aspect of Internet of Things and how you can use that to create personalized experiences. I didn't pick up the clicker from Simone. I got a different clicker. Let's see. OK, here we go. We're up. As I talk through these examples, I will make it clear to you that digital is at the key of success, and that you guys here today, digital experts, you're actually incredibly well positioned to create these Internet of Things experiences. Hej, jeg hedder Sune Kaae, og jeg vil gerne fortælle jer om tingenes internet, og hvordan det kan levere personalisering, oplevelser, som er super fede. Did you understand that? How many of you? A few of you. Okay, so third or a quarter. So as I was preparing, I thought about language. I briefly considered doing it in Danish, but I thought you might lose a few of the nuances. So I thought, okay, maybe Swedish. And it would be like this. Hej. Jeg heter Sune Kaae, og jeg skal prate om opkoblede prylar. Og så her bra grejer som är jätteroliga. Thank you, thank you. That's almost too kind. The reality with Swedish is it's hard for you to understand, and I barely know what I'm saying. So as you can tell, maybe you can tell, I am Danish. And I decided to do the talk in English. I spent my entire career building stuff for the internet. My first 5 years was in Copenhagen. Just around the .com time, so just in the lead up and in the aftermath of the bust. I was smart enough to create my own business with a co-founder in April of 2000, which happens to be just around the same month that NASDAQ tanked. So that was awful timing to create your own business. But looking back, I've learned a lot from both successes and failures that I've gone through. And next, I moved to London, and I spent 5 years there. I studied computer science. I worked a lot on digital things for a digital agency, MRM McCann. And I met my now wife, Ida Josefin. So she's Swedish, and she's actually from Stockholm. And we decided together to move to New York, where we ended up spending 5 years. I worked mainly with digital agency RGA, and I worked primarily on Nike Plus products. And while in New York, Ida and I, we extended our family a bit. We got ourselves 2 cats. 2 homeless cats from a local shelter, actually. And as we moved to Stockholm 2 years ago, we brought along our cats. And we also managed to do a family extension since we got here. We now have a baby girl, Otea, and she is 15 months old. And on Friday of next week, I'm going on paternity leave. I'm living the life in Stockholm. Here in Stockholm, I work with innovation company Veriday, And my new colleagues there have been building physical products, iconic products for decades, literally since the 70s. For example, the SAS coffee pot, the one they use on the planes. The Baby Björn baby carrier that I have and I'll be using a lot in a couple of weeks. And more recently, smart home products for IKEA. And when I think back of my career, some of the things that I've built, I'm very proud of. I feel it's added happiness to the world. Other things, I look back and I think, what the hell? And I'm obviously going to show you one of those first. This particular type of experience was popular in the early part of my career. You're not taking away the applause machines, Simone. Okay. Yeah, this particular type of experience was very popular in the early days of my career, and it's about banners. Effectively, it's kind of like a banner on steroids with superpowers. It's called a full-page banner takeover. And it goes like this. You're on CNET, you're reading an article about Spotify, and all these things are happening. You can't see anything, and you get incredibly annoyed. Your computer slows down, and you can't read anything. Perhaps some of you guys have helped create some of these things. You know, I didn't actually create this particular one. I think this is actually better than the ones I've created. I think from a branding perspective, this is pretty good. Lenscraft, it's glasses, it's vision, blurred vision, you can't read the text. But you know, the bottom line is you have this experience and you hate it. It's annoying. You're certainly not adding happiness to the world. But this is how some of the things that you at the time create with passion, when you look back, not always great. Later on in my career, I worked primarily with products. On the digital side, so in New York, I worked on a number of Nike Plus products. First off, the GPS running app. It's the one with the lady running on it. We helped launch the first version of that. And then the digital ecosystem around Sportwatch, which is for runners, track their runs outdoors. And spent a year and a half maybe building the first versions of the FuelBand mobile apps for the FuelBand, which was actually pretty awesome at the time. It was one of the first products that came out where your phone was speaking Bluetooth with a wearable, a connected device. It was incredibly hard to make work at the time. And it's interesting how, of course, now nobody would be surprised, and it's not difficult to create anymore. So the reason why I work with products now is because there is a revolution happening in products. And digital is at the center of that revolution. Internet of Things is enabling us to create brand new types of experiences. Things were not possible before. And that reminds me of how things were when I started out with Internet. So this is what it looked like, roughly, when I went full-time in '98. The page for Apple, Apple at the time was still going downwards. I think Jobs had maybe just rejoined. Google was in the basement and had not been incorporated yet. Yahoo was dominating. And mobile gaming was Nokia, the Snake game, which was great, admittedly. Classic. Now, what was great about working with Internet at the time was we did a lot of experimentation. There were no rules, or if there were rules, we felt at liberty to completely reinvent them. And that is how I feel about Internet of Things now. It's a lot of experimentation, and sometimes what comes out is great and awesome, and sometimes it's, in retrospect, not so clever. And when I started working with Internet, the main way with which we built things, bigger things, was with this process that we call waterfall. It's a very sequential way of looking at things. It's very phased. And in digital now, hardly anyone uses that. Almost everybody works with agile development, Scrum, for example. Much more iterative, about getting to a version 1 very quickly, learning as you go. Now, when you look at traditional manufacturing for products, it is actually very waterfall. It's very sequential. It starts up with customer interviews, customer research, then a high-level idea for a product, detailed design, then you do tooling for manufacturing, Then you get your factories to actually start to produce the physical products, come out of the factories, put them in containers, put them on boats, ship to distributors, resend out to retailers, and retailers then sell to consumers. And as a producer, the only way you will be in touch with your consumer is if they're so unhappy with your product that they want to use the warranty to return it. It's a very long sequence of steps. It's all about efficiency and economies of scale, and the outcome of these products are somewhat one-size-fits-all type of products. Fairly generic. Certainly, products are not optimized for you. They're not personalized to you. It's all about minimizing variation and minimizing change. Now, the physical world and the digital world is merging. Increasingly, you have a lot more digital technology in physical products, and you have much more physical touch points on your digital experiences. And increasingly, experiences are defined to go across both digital and physical. So from a physical product perspective, what's happening is we're packing a lot of sensors into physical product, and we're adding connectivity. Both connectivity to your phone, but also connectivity from your product to the internet, maybe even without you, directly to the internet. So that allows your product to essentially tap into all the resources on the internet, and potentially it allows other products on the web to tap into your product. And the result of this is, it is no longer about being the best at producing widgets, at producing the physical products. It is increasingly about being best at creating the experiences, best at experiences that are going across physical and digital. To make that happen, you need your teams to collaborate very well. You need your manufacturing team and your digital team to be working hand in hand, very closely. And that can be incredibly hard, because these two teams, they look at the world very differently. Their culture is different. Manufacturing teams, product design teams, generally look at things in a kind of waterfall way of looking at the world. The basic assumption is you know pretty much what you need to build, you know pretty much how to build it, and the world around you is going to stay pretty much as it is. In digital, you guys are probably used to working with Agile, and the basic assumption is we don't know exactly what we need to build, we don't really know how to build it, and the tools will be changing, and the world around us, including competition and opportunities, is changing all the time. So when you get a manufacturing team and a digital team in the same room, they probably don't agree on what experience to build. They probably don't even agree on how to get started, like what is the first step in the plan. This gives a relative advantage to startups, because startups can create their culture and set up their teams in a way that lends itself to this type of collaboration from the start. Existing enterprises have a lot of culture and organizational setup that they need to amend to work together more collaboratively. So when it works out well, the result is great personalized experiences. And I will show you 7 examples, and with each one, I will emphasize a unique aspect of how you can use Internet of Things to create these personalized experiences. And I will illustrate with each one, we'll give a short analysis of why building that experience makes sense to the organization behind it. This first case from Philips is about the basic idea of connectivity, adding connectivity to your product. So Philips Hue is connected to the internet, and it allows you to turn the light bulb on or off on your phone. Pretty basic. It also enables you to choose which color of light you want from your light. So red, green, blue, yellow, but also exactly which shade you want. So for example, do you want a cool white light or a warm white light? And in this way, it allows you to personalize the light in your home. When Philips released this, they also released an API. An API is a way for your product to talk to other products or other services, other applications, even from other manufacturers on the web. And with the API, I can, for example, download an app on my phone, and I can configure my Philips Hue lights to automatically turn on whenever the sunlight goes down. Or I could connect it maybe to my alarm clock, so that when my alarm goes off in the morning, there is a party at home. Changing lights, blinks. Looking at the business side, Philips is behind this, and Philips have been producing great products for more than 100 years. But of course, the challenge is light bulbs is becoming a commodity. It is perhaps already a commodity. Most people don't care too much about what brand the light bulbs are. But with Hue, Philips is creating product plus service, an experience that people care about, high level of engagement and awareness. This enables Philips to be in touch on a daily basis with consumers, have a conversation with them, understand their needs, their habits, and inform which services and products to launch in the future, perhaps even directly communicate new products to them. Great. This next example, Fitbit, is about the basic ability of adding sensors into a physical product. And the category is activity trackers, which I think in Sweden became everybody became very aware of, I think a year and a half ago, when it was Christmas present of the year in 2014, I think. So you put this thing on your wrist, and it'll track what you do during the day. Basic feature is track your steps. More advanced versions will track your heart rate throughout the day. Your skin temperature, how much you sweat, how you sleep at night. So not only will you get detailed data on what exactly you're doing during the days, weeks, month, year, you also will get personalized insights on your current habits and how to change them to more healthy habits, or habits that gives you better sleep. And looking at the company behind it, Fitbit, it's founded in 2007. I consider it kind of physical digital era. And to me, they are kind of the quintessential Internet of Things company. It's San Francisco, California, so it's kind of Silicon Valley. And the way they look at products, experiences, is not as physical and digital being two separate things. It's an experience that goes across both. And in fact, some of their products, like these colorful ones, don't even have a physical UI. You must use digital to interact with it. This next example from Hive is about how a product can interact with its surroundings. So both sense what is happening around you and also influence what's happening. And Hive is a collection of products for the smart home. The primary product is a smart thermostat. And the basic idea is when your home detects that nobody is there, it can reduce the amount of heating in your home, reduce the temperature. And when it realizes that somebody's on way home, take the temperature back up. A few other products in that range, sensors to realize if people are home, and power sensors to realize which appliances are on or off. So for example, if you leave in the morning and you're wondering if you left the coffee machine on or the iron on, you can check on your phone. If you did indeed forget to turn it off, you can do it in app. In this way, you get a sense of an experience that is a personalized home. And I think maybe most interestingly with this example, the company behind Hive is British Gas. British Gas is the British ex-state-owned company. So they're providing a commodity. They're a gas provider. Nobody cares about gas providers. Almost nobody cares about people who provide gas. Hive is a way for British Gas to become highly relevant to people. Daily engagement, right? And it's a way for Hive and British Gas to learn about people's behaviors, what they do in their home, and what type of products and services from British Gas would be even more relevant in the future. And I put up the word start in, this idea of a startup created within an enterprise. And British Gas realized that they don't have the culture, the organizational setup to be able to create these types of new innovative products. And they created a start-in that is running on the side that allows for a separate culture, which, by the way, is very much how digital sport was set up when I worked with Nike+. Here's an example from BMW, and it is all about how a product can recognize who you are and personalize the experience for you. Drive Now is, I think, about 250 or so cars here in Stockholm, and the basic idea is pay-as-you-go for cars. Kind of a mix between car rental, a taxi service, and outright car ownership. Very smooth digital sign-up, no sign-up fee. You don't need to go anywhere physically to validate your driver's license. When you walk up to a car that you've booked, you unlock the doors with your phone, and as you get in, you're greeted by name. Not sure if you can read it up there, but it says, "Hi, Sune Kaae. Welcome to Drive Now." So it's almost correct. It's my middle name. When I turn on the ignition, I realize that my destination have been transferred automatically from my smartphone to the car's GPS system. In this way, I'm getting a personalized in-car experience. And looking at BMW, somewhat similarly to Philips, they have been producing successful products for a long time. BMW, I believe, this year has produced cars for 100 years. But when you look at this case, it seems as if they're actually a service provider. Instead of selling products for hundreds of thousands of SEK via car dealerships, they're allowing you to use it for a couple of hundreds of SEK, and they're doing it directly. The way you pay is literally by the minute. So the reason why BMW is moving on this is because they're getting pressure from every angle. Volvo has car sharing. It used to be called Sunfleet. Now it's called Volvo Car Sharing. Mercedes, big German competitor, has the small smart cars that are all over town. It says freedom to live or something like this. I think they have about 15,000 cars across Europe, so they're the biggest in this category. Uber is redefining what taxi transport looks like. Public transport is getting better and more popular. And there's global trends to own less. The rise of the sharing economy. So with this Drive Now service, it's possible for BMW to become relevant to a new audience. And again, this allows BMW to have a daily interaction with people, learn their habits, so they can understand exactly where are people traveling to and from, which times of day, how many people is in the car, what services do they need next year or in 5 years. Bycyklen. So here's a Danish word. You can probably guess it. It is the Danish word for city bike, and probably these two people are supposed to be Danish people. So it is the Copenhagen city bike system. And the bike itself is pretty awesome. It has a tablet, it's got GPS navigation, internet connectivity, automatic gears, motor on your bike, obviously, battery, Kevlar chain. It's a high-end product. And the enrollment is very smooth. Again, there's no wait. You just punch in credit card, and you're off either pay-as-you-go or for a monthly subscription. And with this product, you can even pre-book when you need your bike. So you can say, tonight at 6 p.m. when I leave work, or maybe more likely at 8 p.m. when I leave Webbdagarna, I will have a car, sorry, not a car. I will have a bike waiting for me, ready to be picked up at the closest docking station. In that way, it is available to me when I need it, where I need it. And when I look at this example, I think it's interesting to think about how public transport and personalization can go together, or maybe typically don't go together. To me, it's almost an oxymoron. It's almost two opposites. Public transport, to me, almost by definition, is not personalized, right? It's not super convenient for me. But I think in this case, it can be. I think personalized transport, or personalized public transport, in this case is about availability. If the bike is available, close to you, when you need it, and it can take you to pretty much where you need to go, then that is personalized public transport. That's a very interesting use case. And with this setup, it is fairly straightforward for Copenhagen City to make sure that the bikes is indeed available when and where they're needed. Because whenever people use them, the city captures the data about where they're going to and from. Exactly what time of day, what day of week, how does that differ depending on weather? How does it differ depending on time of year in different seasons? So with some analysis, it'll be straightforward to realize exactly when and where these bikes are needed. And the city can move the bikes around, both during the day or overnight, or even move the docking station around so that they can make sure that they're available when needed. My last point about this case is how Bycyklen, I think, is an example of a new type of product, a new product category. Type of product which is specifically developed to be shared for the sharing economy. The product is simply too high-end to be aimed at consumers. Two more cases to go. This one is Automile. It's about digital identity and how you can add that to a physical product. It's kind of like Fitbit, but for your car. You don't put it on your wrist, you put it in the diagnostics port of your car, and all cars have a diagnostics port. Inside of this box is a bunch of sensors, GPS, and internet connectivity. So your car can talk to the internet disregarding whether you're there or not. So of course, this gives you detailed data about your car, where it is, where it's been going, what the fuel economy is like, what the tire pressure is. But importantly, you can get personalized insights. For example, how do I change my driving style to get a better fuel economy, or to reduce the wear and tear of my brakes? Maybe to get a lower insurance premium. Automile is a local startup from here in Stockholm. They're actually very close by. They're at those tall buildings by Sergels Torg. And their business model is B2B. And interestingly, this product, this box, is actually free. And the first month of service is free. It's a free trial. After that, it is a subscription-based business. You pay every month per vehicle. It's about, I think, 100 or 150 SEK, which is, interestingly, I think, exactly how you would organize a digital product. Right? And the proposition is to fleet managers about how to keep track of all the cars in your fleet for a tax reason. You need a travel log submitted to tax. It's very straightforward. But I think, interestingly, when you are able to keep track of all your cars, when your cars in your fleet has an identity, you can start to assign some level of behavior or perhaps even personality to the vehicles in your fleet. So for example, if any of my vehicle moves out of this zone, I would like to be notified. Or if this particular type of vehicle, maybe a particular type of van, if it sees a lot of acceleration or a lot of braking or sharp turns, I'd like it to be flagged so I can have a conversation with the driver. My last example is Sonos. It's about upgrades and updates. I think most people think of upgrades as something in physical products that you pay extra for. Updates is something for free with software. So of course, these two things are merging. Sonos' basic product is a wireless speaker that allows you to stream music from anywhere to any room in your home. So local MP3 files, Spotify, obviously, SoundCloud, radio, and you can stream that to any room in your home. And with the latest round of app updates, they came out with a new feature for calibration. It allows you to use your phone and your speakers to essentially optimize the room, optimize the sound from that speaker to the specific acoustics of your room and the position of the speaker. So you get personalized sound in your room. And that upgrade comes for free. Again, Sonos it's 2002, it's also California, I think Santa Barbara, and similar to Fitbit, they look at product as a mix of physical and digital. It's not two different things. And as a result, they stand out in competition. There's now a ton of competition in this product category, lots of Bluetooth speakers. But Sonos has a very clear and unique position. Nobody has that type of digital experience or the ecosystem around it. So even though the competition can make approximate copies of the physical product, they still cannot compete. So in summary, here are the 7 experiences, the 7 examples of how you can use different aspects of Internet of Things to deliver personalized experiences. Hue is about connectivity and how you connect your product. Fitbit is about how you put sensors in your product. Hive is about interacting with your surroundings. BMW is about recognizing people who they are and adjusting their experience to them. Bycyklen is about a new type of product category optimized for sharing economy. Automile, adding digital identity to physical products. And Sonos, how to upgrade a product even after it's been sold or purchased. This is what the digital experience looks like for these same products. And with all of these products, physical and digital have merged. And I think generally, digital is the primary way that you work with these products. So when I think about what is needed in the Internet of Things industry, what is needed to create great Internet of Things experiences? It is not just the skills to build better digital experiences. It's not just a question of building better digital solutions. I think it's about mindset. It's about a digital mindset. It's about changing culture to be more digital. Which is why I believe that you guys are the heroes. Digital is the essential piece for Internet of Things. You're the experts on digital. And that is why I believe you guys, you should start or lead the next Internet of Things project in your organization. Thank you.